Hey, I am Jacob Heron working with Group 14. This is our Increment 3 video presentation. So for this increment, we basically took a lot of the Increment 2 functionality and features that we had and expanded upon them and made the game much more lively and just added a bunch of new features. So I'll begin by, this is our main menu, and we expanded upon the main menu along with our main playable game area. Is this now it's this new expansive map. So we have all these areas you can go down to this boss dungeon, boss level, mini bosses, different enemies in the game. Yeah, and we have our boss levels, which have new game maps and stuff. And yeah, so for our different enemies in the game world, we originally just had these slime enemies, which are over here in the enemy scripts. And for increment 3, we expanded upon this by taking a lot of the functionality in the enemy script and duplicating it and adding different enemies. So like sprites, we had these little randomly placed like hooded men and these stone creatures. And so yeah, so for certain sprites, we took the same functionality from the enemy script, such as like random generation and spawning, but we also added different things for the bosses, such as actually detecting the player and trying to target and attack the player, depending if the player is in their rigid body area. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Come over to here and we can look at the prefab for our ghost objects. So this is one of our bosses. There's 3 bosses in this level. And once the player enters the detection zone, which this is the detection zone, once the player enters the detection zone for any boss or enemy that uses this, the enemy will then target the player and constantly move towards the player and attack the player. So I will just start off. Oh, also we added a good amount of sound functionality and music, as well as different health potions to allow the player to update their health real time if they're being attacked by any enemies. And then, yeah, that's basically it. So I'll start off by launching the menu game. So the menu is practically the same, except now the background showcases what the game will actually look like once you start. Our about function shows who was working on the project along with our actual project, directions, how to play the game, and then we can play the game. So the main area starts off pretty much the same, except now there is a lot more expanded terrain, and the game just looks a lot better. We have this little NPC who is just sitting here under the tree, make the game world more lively. Different objects, such as collision objects, like these trees and stuff, will prevent the player from colliding with them. But you can also go behind them and show more like depth of the game world. These enemies will randomly spawn and attack you, so you gotta be careful of that. You can hear that we added some sound effects to the bow, added some sound effects to the swords attacking, as well as attacking some enemies. And you can see when I got attacked, my health went down, and now these little health potions will allow me to regen my health. And you can see as I'm walking around, these little black sprites will randomly generate throughout the world and try to attack me. Along with this guy, who once I enter his detection zone, he will target me specifically and do his attack combo, which is pretty dangerous. So he doesn't have too much health, though, fortunately. There's another guy down here. Oh, getting cornered. We can come over here. Over on the left side of the game world is some of our boss levels that we introduced. I'll just walk over here. See one of our stone enemies. He'll also target you once you get close to the area. run quickly into this boss dungeon. So you can see the whole boss world loads and the music loads. Now, once I enter the boss dungeon, or they're already attacking me, you can see the detection zone is different for, or it's the same for all of them, but their movement speeds is different, allowing like they don't group up too easily, and it makes the player a little more hard time to attack these enemies. So this is one of the boss fights. Quickly get out here before I die. You come over here to another boss fight. See the music also changes, the whole game world, different types of collision objects. And then we have our actual boss. It's a pretty scary guy. I'm gonna stay away from him. But you know, heal up a little bit with these health pots. Fight him. He got one shot, but this is a beginning boss, and yeah, so that is our game. Thank you.